general public. Thank you so much. And this is the update. So if you have any questions, we can go ahead with the regular press questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. So all the participants, if you have any questions for Honorable Minister, he will be there. He will be here to answer your questions. If you have a question, you can just raise your hand, and I can unmute your mic so that you can answer.
I have a question.
Abukar.
Yes, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, my name is Babu Karsi from QTV. Honorable Minister, I'm more concerned with the tourism and culture,
Yes.
announcing that the tourist season will open in October. You've made mention of some very good news of flights landing in and out on weekly basis and stuff. But what are the procedural measures put in place, knowing that COVID is here to stay for a while? What are the guides or what are the procedures that you are putting in place for tourists to know that when they come to the Gambia, this is what awaits them, because it's not going to be business as usual as it used to be. There are certain policies that we put in place like quarantine, and other, better. What are the measures put in place to make sure that when these tourists start arriving next month, they will know this is what awaits them?
Thank you so much, Babukar of QTV. Indeed, all around the world, the travel industry has put in place mechanisms to ensure that they cope with the situation that the world has found itself in right now, which is the pandemic related to COVID-19. And the Gambia is no exception. So the Gambia Tourism Board, with its parent ministry, the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, has put in place measures that were drawn following consultation with the Ministry of Health. And this include, for example, before you travel to the Gambia, you ensure that you have a certificate that indicates that you are tested negative for COVID-19, and this should not be more than 72 hours of test result. Further, at the airport, for example, when visitors arrive, they'll be guided to ensure that they observe strict social distancing measures. Most importantly, all the hotels and the restaurants and important places that tourists visit, they are being sensitized to ensure that they have in place strict health guidelines, especially related to hygiene. Mask will be, put on at all times if you are out and about in the streets or in places that are congested with people. The situation will be monitored and be reviewed as we go along, but countries are opening up, and the Gambia should not be seen as an exception.
Yeah, and to follow up to that, you made mention of the certificate that shows that you've made this test 72 hours before you land in Banjul. So I'm just still gonna ask, if that certificate is shown, does that mean one will not be quarantined? That certificate qualifies you to just get into the public like that?
Well, of course, that situation will be reviewed. Right now in the Gambia, the basic rules of quarantine have changed a bit. For example, when you travel from outside, you are sent straight into mandatory quarantine. But now when you come with that certificate, of course, you stay home under observation right now, because the initial case management, the initial containment strategy was that it was most likely that most of the cases that we were having were coming from outside. But now we have, local infection, community infection. So it is no longer tenable to focus only on those that are coming into the country. It is also important that we put some focus on, in-country infection. And that is why now the suggestion has been that immediately when you arrive in the country and you saw that, a certificate that you've gone through test and that you are negative, you can stay in your hotel facility or home, and then you can be monitored. And if you have shown any indicative signs of the virus, then you can contact health authorities. And most of the hotels also, they have their own private arrangements to ensure that the safety of their visitors are assured.
I will leave it at that for now. If there are no other questions, I will come with GPA, but let me just give chance to others.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Babukar. Anybody else with a question, please?
I know Kerr Fatou is on.
Yes, Kerr Fatou is on. Kerr Fatou is on, and
Okay, so Babukar, if you have another question, you can ask.
Yeah, the question actually is with GPA. You've made mention of the expansion plan of, if I'm right, 2020, 2035, something like that.
The master plan.
Master plan, exactly. And the expansion of the ports have been a lip service for many a time now. When do we really expect to see this? The issue of the ramps, obviously, we've heard from the MD and others, but the expansion for the ship landing and stuff, when will it really start? When will work start? Because that's what the layman we want to see, that work has started for the expansion of the ports for ships to land. As you rightly mentioned, 2 or 3 ships will be landing at the same time if the expansion is done.
Well, I can tell you that this is an important priority for the Gambia Ports Authority, but also for the government of the Gambia, because you look at our capacity right now, the port is underutilized because you have a lot of ships that are coming in, and the waiting time is unacceptable and is unbearable. So the management of the ports has taken this strong measure, and they are doing the initial works now, because you have to move people from some of the areas around the half-die end, and those negotiations have been ongoing, so that people in the vicinity or the area that is earmarked for expansion can be compensated. So those are the type of things that that have to be sorted first, and then those ones I think the plans have, the discussions have gone too far. In terms of the ports authority, the ferries, the contract has also been signed, and hopefully soon work will start.
Thank you, sir.
thank you, Babukar. Oh, do you have any other questions? Kerr Fatou, they say they don't have any questions on the group. So
I've seen someone join now.
yeah,
Fatou Dahaba.
Dahaba, yes. It's online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we don't have any questions, we can thank all of you for
Yes.
joining the press briefing this week. And we hope to catch up with you next week, inshallah, Friday at the same time, 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And Fatou, I'm looking forward to getting the videos shortly so that I can work on my story. Thank you.
Okay, we will also send you the script. Huh?
Yeah, the script have already been shared. I already shared the script.
Okay, the script has already been shared with all of you already.
Yes, and we will share the recorded video as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.